Up until now has asked you if you could hear them. If you can't hear me and I'm being super quiet, just point at me and laugh. If I'm talking way too loud, just cover your ears with your hands. I'm going by the smiles that we're doing all right. Now, I am a former Marine. We are 15 minutes behind, and we're going to try and get back on schedule. I'm super excited about this one, actually. We've got a bunch of devs in the room and a bunch of founders in the room, and the one thing I've learned about really good devs is they're really bad marketers. So the person that we're bringing on next is actually someone who is a master of brand and a master of marketing who has come into this space to try to help people make sense of how do we actually sell this stuff. And I'm really excited to introduce Eric. If you can come on up from the back, we'll bring you on right away.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, but before getting there, and we are not going to talk about marketing campaigns, we are going to talk about power. Any power in the world is asymmetric. You either have bigger guns, you have deeper pockets, you have more control of the regulatory system, you have larger marketing budgets, can be all kinds of reasons why asymmetry is in place. It can also be that you are born in a better family, that sometimes you even have a different skin color. That makes a difference in life. Now, the interesting thing is, when you think about power and asymmetry, it's interesting to understand it relating to brands. Who in the room knows what heuristic means? Now, it's a bit difficult, of course, with all these headphones on. Heuristic, it's in branding, is the mental shortcut. Whether I say Rolex or Swatch, whether I say Mercedes or Hyundai, whether I say Mars, a snack bar, or some brand I don't know, it directly creates a mental shortcut. That's one of the challenges that we are facing today in the space that we are all in Web3. Now, the interesting thing is that Web3 and AI are going to rebalance this asymmetry. And it's an interesting constatation to think about, because it actually means that you are going to rebalance the power. This is also directly the reason why all of you are having a hard time to really get things going. This morning I was listening at the jury table to some of the guys who are presenting new ideas. All the CV fraud, the guy that came and talked about it from Socius, it's a 14 billion market. The $14 billion market does not want to be disrupted, because then it goes from 14 billion to zero. It wants to keep on going. And that's the interesting thing about what's going to happen now with Web3 and with AI. Just this is also the reason why at Unbox we think about smart tokens. And I'm not going to talk about anything of Unbox smart tokens. I just want to talk about the difference between something being dumb or something being smart. Asymmetry is built by keeping whatever can take its power away dumb. So if you make it smart, and I know this sounds pretty simplistic, but it is, then you create a different situation. For example, all of us here, we are in both digital and physical space. Today, physical things in the physical space are smart. Digital things in most digital spaces are also mostly smart. But when a physical item gets into the digital space, it gets really dumb. That is why it gets scared. That's why it gets scaring for everybody. And this is a formula which I go by when we look at what we do at Unbox from a marketing and commercial perspective. And it's a pretty simple explanation. It is any physical asset, and we've been hearing about it as a theme of this event, which is great. Any physical asset where you add a smart token to, you enrich it with AI, becomes actually a smart asset. And the summation of all smart assets, that's the autonomy of things. It's the autonomy of everything, whether it being a high valuable good, whether it being a transaction in a real world asset, and so forth and so on. And I think this is the interesting idea, that when everything around you becomes digitally smart, that's the moment that the power asymmetry balances back in. It's a very interesting moment that I think everybody here is waiting for, but so far we have not succeeded. And for that, and also because we are running late and I want to stay within the time frame, and a couple of takeaways when you think about it and how to market all the ideas that you guys have. First of all is we need real world cases. Today, 99.9% of whatever we do in and on blockchain, it's DeFi and crypto. But DeFi and crypto, it's super niche. We need real world cases, and real world cases means you use cases that the Fortune 1000 companies have. The large corporations in the world where you can improve their systems, that you solve real needs. That's super important because otherwise we keep on turning around in this bubble of crypto and DeFi. Second thing is smarter things. We have no more reason to exist in what we do if we don't play according to that simple formula to make things smarter. Otherwise, we have no reason to exist. Then we can simply go home. There is Web 1, there is Web 2, these solve these things. Whatever we do, does it make whatever is going on smarter, yes or no? Both digitally smarter and physically smarter, in both worlds, digitally and physical. Then, ownership is going to get redefined. Today, in the Web 2 world, we think that we own money at the bank, we think that we own loyalty, we think that we own a lot of things, but I never went to my bank to go and check if the money is actually there. And I don't want to go down the road of money because that's a highly regulated environment. But even when you look at loyalty cards, when you look at your own data, you actually do not own it. So ownership will be redefined as we go. I think it's going to take another 15 years, but I think it's going to be super interesting. That brings us to, going back to the rebalancing, you need to democratize business. And I think one of the biggest promises of Web3, which we still need to see happen, is that you do not need anymore a big multinational with a lot of power to actually build a business. Same as Shopify and Amazon enabled small companies to sell around the world without having large logistic operations. Web3 is going to democratize businesses, both in physical and digital worlds, to break through both barriers of time and space and regulatory. So I think it's going to be a super interesting one. But lastly, and I think this is an important one for everybody in the room, buckle up. Nobody is waiting to be disrupted. Web3 will only succeed when you get what we call systemic changes. And a systemic change means that it's not incremental change. A systemic change means that fundamentally everything in the system gets overhauled. We only know systemic changes in categories when large sectors go bankrupt, also known in marketing speak as the Kodak moment, when you look it up. But I think the interesting thing is that all of us are also here because we like more than just Web3 and cool stuff. We're also there because we believe that the pursuit of happiness and the right to be is actually a defined principle, meritocracy. And I think that Fred this morning also introduced it really well. Web3 allows us to break through time and space. And breaking through time and space gives space to all kinds of people wherever in the world to participate in the global economy. And I think that is the core of rebalancing the asymmetry of power. And I want to stop with a last visual, which I saw coming in the train to Paris the other day. As you see, like the big fish tries to eat all the small one. It says, don't panic, organize yourself. That is what I think that everybody here should do. We need to get ourselves organized. We need to get ourselves organized, and that is why these events, where we physically meet each other, are important. So thank you very much. And I stayed within my timing. Thank you.